That was a bummer, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute bummer. A lot of missed opportunities tonight for the Red Sox. Giolito, not his best performance here tonight. In the end, the Red Sox dropped this one 5-4 in extra innings. Welcome to Monster Territory, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by the Foul Territory Network. It's another late one here. Unless you're on the West Coast, it is still nice and early in the night on the West Coast, but here on the East Coast, it is 12:20 in the morning. So not as bad as last night. Last night, that was pretty late for us, but this one's doable. We can do this one. And then we got the 4 o'clock one tomorrow. So we've made it through the toughest of the late night shows here for this series. But like I said, absolute bummer for the Red Sox here tonight. And, there's a lot of things you could look at with this one. David Hamilton, he popped up in a couple of spots here tonight where, people are going to get very grumpy with David Hamilton. And unfortunately, you can kind of, just look at the couple spots that he was in. And, there's things where he's got to clean some stuff up, in my opinion, right? There was one incident with David Hamilton here tonight, stealing second base late in the game. He was safe by a mile, but then, Xander Bogaerts on the tag looked like maybe there was a bit of at least some pressure applied from Bogaerts when his hand came down on the bag, and Hamilton ended up popping up a little bit. They challenged the play, went to New York. They ended up calling him out instead of being safe. That one's tough. It's really hard. I see a lot of people on Twitter saying, oh, he pushed him off. Oh, he pulled him off. Okay, well, let's get this one out of the way. Bogaerts did not pull David Hamilton off the bag. I think we can all agree on that one. He did not actually physically lift him off of the bag. Now, can you say, was there a bit of a push? Well, define push, right? Obviously, a push is you are exerting force away from you. To me, it looked like Bogaerts, the hand was coming down at a bit of an angle on top of Hamilton's hand. So maybe that little bit of pressure obviously didn't help him out really. You could say that if you want, right? Yeah, maybe there was a little something from Bogaerts. But for me, in that play, I'm always looking at what could you have done to prevent that? And to me, I think Hamilton, he just needs to get into the bag, right? You need to make it as definitive as possible. You want to avoid any sort of a bad call or whatever it may be, whether you agree with the call, disagree with the call. The best way to prevent any of that is to just get into the bag and not have anything come, just get in there. That's just how I look at it personally. He did slide a little wide on the bag. I'm not putting this on Hamilton. I get it. I understand people's frustration on that, but that's just the way I see it. Hamilton, he's a fast guy. He's aggressive out there. Ended up popping up a little bit. And yeah, maybe Bogaerts, there was a little bit of a shove on that one, but that's the way I look at it. I think Hamilton, he's got to find a way, especially in a late game situation like that. You got to stay on second. You got to stay on the bag. That's just how I feel about it. I think there's a little bit of blame on both sides for that, in my opinion. But then you go to the bunt attempt in the ninth inning with David or in the top of the 10th, sorry. David Hamilton trying to lay down a bunt. You have the ghost runner on second base. I am okay with the bunt attempt, but I'm not really okay with trying to bunt for a hit at the same time. I think in that situation, when the pressure's high, when the leverage is up, you got to just keep it simple and lay down the bunt. It's kind of where I'm at. I get it. He's got some speed. I'm not sure what exactly was going on there. And it was multiple times, too. Multiple times where you see that he was trying to bunt for a hit. So I'm kind of wondering, if I'm Cora, if I'm the coaching staff, being like, hey, stop trying to bunt for a hit. Just lay it down. So I don't know if maybe that's something they just got to work on, or I don't know. Is that just the way Hamilton bunts? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at the prior bunts. I don't have that photographic memory exactly. But Hamilton really came up empty on that one. That was a pretty low point of tonight's game. When you're striking out on a bunt attempt to try and move over the ghost runner, that can't be happening. You got to get that down, right? Something he's got to work on. And, this is where you look at someone like Marcelo Meyer, where you wonder if you have Meyer in that situation, where Meyer is a cool cat. He is cooler than the other side of the pillow. Does Marcelo Meyer get that bunt down if he's in that spot? You wonder. Or is he, whatever they end up doing, right? I think Marcelo Meyer, that's where you lose. When you lose a player like that, it hurts, right? And with Hamilton, he's done some good things in the past, but the bright lights are really getting to him here this year. So, Aiden, I think that's a good question here in the chat. Why was Hamilton bunting with 2 strikes? And then you kind of wonder, I'll play devil's advocate there. Then if he ends up going for a hit, people are going to look at, well, Hamilton, he hasn't really been able to do anything this year with the bat. He's had a couple of things here and there, but I could see people just as easily saying, oh, why isn't he just trying to bunt? He might as well just try to bunt, even though there's 2 strikes. So I think there's no winning in that situation unless he actually did something productive, right? Hamilton, I'm not going to put all of this on him tonight, but a couple of big moments that he was involved in, and the results just weren't great. But then you can just look at the rest of the offense here tonight. There are multiple chances, especially early against Michael King. Michael King just came back from a 3-month stint of being out with a shoulder issue. So the Red Sox, they look like they had him on the ropes quite early in this one, and they weren't able to get to him. And then this bullpen for the Padres, this bullpen is insane. Robert Suarez, he ran into a little trouble there in the 9th. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But wow, this bullpen for the Padres, there is a lot of length. I feel bad for the teams in the postseason that are going to have to go up against this bullpen. It is top-notch. It is no joke. Wow. You really saw that there tonight. They got Velo back there. They got stuff. They got guys that are crafty like Jason Adam. You got the Velo and Mason Miller, Robert Suarez, Adrian Morejon. He's got a bit of both. Who is the other guy? There's so many guys for the Padres here tonight that I'm already going blank on who the other one was. Goodness gracious. I'm going completely. Who was it again? I can't believe I'm going completely blank. Estrada, my goodness, Estrada. That guy just flat out was nasty there tonight. Great bullpen for the Padres here tonight. They couldn't do a thing minus Roman Anthony, who did come up with a very clutch hit there. This is why you're giving the guy the big bucks. No moment is too big for this guy. Going oppo with the clutch double there to tie it up in the 9th. You just weren't able to do anything after him. And then, like I said, you couldn't get to Michael King earlier in the game. They had opportunities throughout. What was the runners in scoring position for tonight for the Red Sox? 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position tonight. 15 strikeouts on the night. That mostly came from the Padres bullpen here. Estrada had 5 strikeouts. Wandy. Oh, don't forget about Wandy. We'll get to him in a little. They couldn't do more damage against him either. My goodness, that guy was an absolute wreck. But he had a K. Estrada, unbelievable. What a performance for Estrada tonight. 5 strikeouts in 2 innings. Morejon with a couple, Miller with a few, Suarez with a couple, Adam had 1. Unbelievable. I mean, this bullpen had 14 strikeouts here tonight. My goodness. Giolito, getting to him. Tough night for Gio. He really lacked the command there tonight. He had 6 walks. That's his most since May 25th, 2023. I'm not sure if maybe there was a bit of fatigue going on or if there was something mechanical going on. I felt like he didn't look comfortable there tonight. There were instances where he kept looking back at the mound. I don't know if he was something going on there, something with his landing spot or whatever it may be. Something just didn't feel quite comfy with Giolito here tonight. He was really struggling with the command. He was pressing. He was laboring out there at some point. And then, you get back to the last inning that he ended up throwing. Guys just walking guys left and right. Ended up walking in a couple of runs. I mean, he was getting squeezed by the umpire tonight. I know people were talking about that as well on Twitter land here. But, I mean, sure. Is he going to get squeezed on a couple? Yeah, but it's going to go both ways. And with Giolito, he had trouble throwing strikes really all night. So, there were a couple of two where, sorry to, get on to Connor Wong here, even though he didn't have really a great game here either tonight. But there were a couple where, he was doing some framing. And this is something with me where I do appreciate a good frame job, but I feel like guys try to just do it too much. There was one pitch in particular with Wong, with Giolito tonight, and Wong, that looked like a pitch that was just right there, and Wong just brought it down so much in the strike zone where, you've seen this, throughout the majors where if a guy tries to do it too much, it kind of just throws off the ump a little bit there, So combine that with the fact that you're kind of all over the place anyway. He was having trouble getting the calls. He was working in out of trouble all night. Not a great night for Giolito. Bullpen, though, minus Whitlock. They were pretty solid here. Matz, Hicks, Chapman, they locked it down. Whitlock, unfortunately, giving up the walk-off hit tonight. How about Xander Bogaerts? Minus that play with Hamilton over at second base. Xander, he had himself a very good night. Had the home run there tonight. He went 2 for 4, a couple of ribbies. So, taking it to his old team in San Diego. My goodness. Yeah, Monk Mode, I see you in the chat. Those freaking walks. This is a family-friendly show. I am not going to say that out loud. But yeah, a lot of walks for the pitching staff here tonight. 8 walks overall. Giolito had 6 of them. You had a couple from the bullpen as well. Whitlock, he walked a guy but he put him on intentionally. But, it is what it is. Just a tough night. They beat themselves a lot. They didn't help themselves out at all. Combine that with the fact that this Padres bullpen is nasty. That was a recipe for just a loss there tonight. I'll give them a little credit. They were hanging in there until the end, right? But in the end, the Padres, they got the upper hand, and they pulled it off here tonight. Everybody, if you can, before we really dive into it here tonight, we're going to talk about Giolito. We'll go over the missed chances for the Red Sox. We'll go over Game 3 here tomorrow. If you can, ladies and gentlemen, just hit the like button for me. And subscribe if you're new. We're almost at 4.5K, where I think we're a few subscribers away. We're almost there. And then the big goal is 5K by the end of the season. We got about a little less than a couple of months to try and get there. We'll see if we can. I hope we can, right? Before I get going here with the rest of the show, we do have a word from our sponsor. I'll be right back. The dog days of summer means it's time for the boys of summer to kick it into gear. And the best way to cash in on your baseball IQ is with the DraftKings Sportsbook. If you've never bet on baseball before, well, it's simple. You pick a guy to go yard, you hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. And here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly.
Oh. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh, hello, we are back. My goodness, I don't know what just happened there. My goodness, my whole thing just completely spasmed. Well, I don't know what just happened. Alrighty, all right, let's get this going. Okay, all right. Sorry about that. Lucas Giolito. Let's talk about Giolito here. Again, just running into trouble pretty much the entire night. Didn't have the command there tonight. Bogaerts getting to him in the second inning there, had the home run, ended up tying it up at 1. We'll get to the offense here in a second. But Giolito right off the bat, Bogaerts, he was just seeing him well there tonight. Third inning, running into more trouble. Arise with the double. Machado, he had the walk on the pitch violation. And then Xander with another RBI. That made it 3-2. And then O'Hearn got the fly out. Fourth inning, huge shout out to Seti. Holy cow, at second base. He made a freaking play out there, a diving play, diving stop, threw it to first for the out, just got the runner. Holy cow, what a play. That guy is unbelievably athletic, not just in center field, but at second base, man. It is incredible that he can do all these great plays out in center field, and he does something like that at second base. Wow. Big shout out to him. Fifth inning, this is where Giolito really unraveled here. He was losing command you saw it right from the beginning. I mean, he was obviously struggling with it tonight overall, but the fifth inning, this was a rough one. Tatis had the base hit. Merrill with the walk. Tatis stole third. There was a wild pitch. Merrill moved up to second. Bogarts getting on base yet again. That loaded the bases. Walked O'Hearn. Tied it up at 3. Got Laureano on a full count. Walked him. They made it 4-3. And that was it for Giolito. 4 2/3, 5 hits, 4 earned, 6 walks. Again, that's the most he has given up since 2023. Mats came in to get the final out. We'll get to the bullpen here, but the offense. Let's get to the offense. Like I said, a lot of missed chances for this offense here. And but they got off to a pretty good start against Michael King. Bregman had the double. Duran had the base hit out to center field that made it 1-0. Second inning, though, big opportunity wasted, man. Massa with the base hit. Toro popped out. Wilyer Seti getting on to load the bases. Wong ground ball to third base. Machado ended up throwing Massa out at home. Roman with the strikeout. Huge opportunity wasted right there. Third inning, you did see a bit of small ball. You saw some athleticism here, some heads-up play as well. Bregman had the double. Good hustle from there. Anytime this guy's running hard, I kind of brace myself a little bit. You still worry about the quad. So, hey, he looked all right there, though. And that was it for Michael King. Wandy Peralta came in, and he just looked rattled. Duran had the base hit. Story, grounder back up the middle. What happened here, Bregman, he got caught in a bit of a rundown there, but he made it last to where Story can get to second base. And then Duran, he was at third base. So he stayed in long enough, and he was communicating with Story, like saying, hey, go to second. So Alex Bregman, man, good with the bat, but he's got a good brain too. Wandy Peralta, I guess, tried doing a hidden ball trick. And so I guess that really backfired against him. It turned into a balk, and then Duran scored to make it 2-1. And then Massa, he had a ground ball back up the middle, and then Peralta tried throwing it home. Story was safe. That made it 3-1. So you were looking good in the early going, but the fourth inning, Wong, Bregman, they both got on, pass ball, moved them up, but then Duran grounded out. And that was pretty much it. I mean, after that, you were pretty much done. Estrada struck out the side when he came in. He had 5 strikeouts overall. Morahan was nasty. Mason Miller, stupid velo. That guy looked incredible. 8th inning, Yoshida with the base hit. Hamilton, he became the pinch runner. We already talked about it. Stealing second, hand coming off. And then he was called safe, but they overturned the play, and he was out. Again, I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, Bogarts looked like he pushed him off. Yeah, I think you could say that a little bit, but to me, I'm just someone where, to me, if you want to prevent any sort of a question, right, any sort of debate, you just make it definitive, right? You get into the bag, you don't come off the bag, and that's it. I see a lot of people, they were talking about the base running mitt. A lot of these guys now across the majors, they're wearing these mitts. I'm okay with them. I'm okay with them because you go back to, years prior, guys were sliding in and then, something happens with a finger, or, whether it's they break a finger, sprain a finger, or whatever, they jam a thumb or whatever it may be. The mitts are really good at preventing that. At the same time, though, like Hamilton, he's so athletic, he's so fast, so aggressive, but I think that backfired a little bit. And again, I get the Bogarts thing. I do understand that. And yes, that was a little concerning to me. And I do think they're going to have to do something with the rules. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think if you're coming off if you're safe, if you're clearly safe, I think that's it. That's it. I don't know if it's, unless like you've completely clearly come off. I don't know, man. I just think if you're there, maybe there needs to be something done when it comes to the challenge of it. I don't know. Maybe that makes me sound like I got sour grapes, but it's tough, man, when he's clearly in there by a mile. But then you just look back and it's where, what could he have done differently to get in to the bag and stay on the bag? I don't know. You go back, right? Go back to Dave Roberts back in 2004. We saw how aggressive he slid into that bag. He was able to stay on that bag, right? We all love the Dave Roberts play. It's going to go down as one of the most memorable plays in Red Sox history. What if something like that happened then? You know what I mean? Like, Dave Roberts wasn't just fast, but he was a good base runner at the same time, and he was just very good at making sure that he was in the bag. He slid in safe, right? You can have the speed to get there, but you got to make sure you stay there. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. Not sure if I'm making sense on that. That's just kind of where I'm at. 9th inning. This is where he had the rally. Said he was safe at first. Soft grounder to the third, but he beat it out. He stole second. Wong, decent at bat. 8 pitches overall, but he struck out looking. I don't know. When you got 2 strikes, I'm thinking you're swinging, you're hacking. I don't know what happened there. He just took it right down the middle. I don't know. Roman, Oppo double, tied it at 4. Like I said, this guy's got ice in his veins. No moment is too big for this guy. I'm going to call this right now. At some point down the road, Roman is going to have multiple postseason moments. He's just built for that moment, man. He has the mentality for it. Nothing bugs him. Bregman had the pop-out, though, story with the K. So, missed opportunity. 10th inning. We talked about it earlier. Hamilton striking out on the bunt. I'm just going to bring it up again. I don't think that's a situation where you should be trying to do too much. It clearly looked like he was trying to bunt for a hit. To me, just square up, get the bat and the ball, lay it down, get the runner to third. And, we saw with Romy, he had the fly out. Does the runner score there? I don't know. You just got to get it down. That's all it is, man. Then Willier was out. And that was pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. That was it. Yeah, sure. Matz, Hicks, solid. Chapman, he shut it down in the 9th, but then Whitlock came in. Laureano walked it off. And that was that. A heartbreaker of a night. The title of the show here tonight, it was a back and forth bummer. Bummer of a night. But hey, good for the Padres. Tip of the cap to them. Bullpen looked insane, right? They did enough to win this game here tonight. And they deserve to win this game tonight with the sloppy play of the Red Sox. But you know what? I'll say this. This might sound ridiculous, but the messy play of the Red Sox tonight, it's so much more digestible than what we were seeing in the early part of the season. I know that might make me sound like just a homer for this team, but I'd rather take these mistakes that compared to what we were seeing in the early going of the season. I'll just say that. But I agree. Still pretty rough mistakes here tonight. Either way, though, the Red Sox, you felt like they had a chance in this one. Whereas games in the past, you were just waiting for something to happen, right? So, but yeah, I see you guys in the chat. Nick Barrett, why does Hamilton not practice bunting more often? I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on when it comes to, the drills for that. I don't know. It is what it is. But let's get to Game 3. We got the rubber match here tomorrow. If you are watching here on Nesson, we are going to wrap it up here in the next minute or so. We are just about out of time here for tonight. So if you want to come over to the Game 3 preview over on YouTube, come to Massa Territory to come see the end of the show. But for Nesson viewers, we'll see you tomorrow for the post-game coverage. So let's get to Game 3 here. Let's get to Game 3. And, hey, we got ourselves an interesting matchup here. And it involves a guy that we thought maybe could have gone to the Red Sox at the deadline. Dylan Cease. ERA is not looking all that dandy. That win-loss record at 4-10 is not looking all that great. But we'll dive into what's been good for Dylan Cease this year. But Brian Bayo, he's been solid. I mean, this guy's just been rattling off good performance after good performance after good performance. He's been fantastic. But let's get into the Dylan Cease here. As you can see, ERA is at a 4.60, but the FIP is at a 3.51. That's a full run lower. Why is that? Well, this guy, he is leading the major leagues in strikeouts per nine. 11.8 strikeouts per nine this year. The walk rate, pretty healthy for the most part, 3.5 per nine. The home run rate has gone up this year, 1.2 per nine. So basically, the stuff is good with Dylan Cease, but he's just been leaving a few too many over the plate. He's been getting hit hard on those pitches. He's going to come at you with a slider and a four-seamer pretty much for the most part. I'd say that ties into it. I'd say he's pretty, I don't want to say he's predictable, because he does have four other pitches that he's going to mix in at times. The curve, the sinker, changeup. He's got a sweeper as well, but he's going to lead with the slider and the four-seamer. Again, he's getting the swing and misses. He's in the 96th percentile when it comes to his whiff percentage, 92nd percentile when it comes to the strikeout percentage. And he's getting a lot of chase, too. So, the stuff is still good. The problem has been the location, especially with the fastball. The fastball run value this year is at a -2. That is in the 27th percentile. However, I do think this could be a good matchup for the Red Sox. As you can see here, when it comes to run value, weighted run value against sliders this year, the Athletics, they are demolishing sliders this year. They have a 22.3 weighted run value against sliders, but the Red Sox are not right behind them, but they are in second with a 9.0. So Dylan Cease, a lot of sliders. The Red Sox, they hit sliders well. They hit curveballs well. The Red Sox are a good breaking ball hitting team. And against fastballs, sure, they've had their issues at times, but weighted run value against fastballs this year, the Red Sox are third overall, 22.9. So 2 pitches that Dylan Cease really leans heavily on. The Red Sox have been good against those pitches. So I like this matchup overall. Now, when it comes to Brayan Bello, obviously, like I said, he's been great as of late. The sinker's been looking good. The changeup has been getting better and better as the season's been going on. He's just looking more comfortable out there over the last, 2.5 months here. The guy just looks great. And when it comes to the experience against Brayan Bello with the Padres hitters, no home runs besides Gavin Sheets. Gavin Sheets does have a home run against him. But other than that, not really a whole lot. Ryan O'Hearn has seen Bello quite a bit during his time with the Orioles, 12 ABs overall, but he's only got a couple of hits against him. So overall, none of these guys, minus Sheets over 5 ABs, have gotten really a great look at Bello. And then when it comes to Dylan Cease, Trevor Story, who is known for hitting breaking balls well, look out for that here tomorrow. He's got a home run against him, but overall hasn't had a lot of success against Cease. Bregman has 12 ABs, hitting .250 against him. Yoshida, he's 3 for 3 against him as well. So, both sides, when it comes to the experience factor, when it comes to the past results, nothing really amazing or that pops off the page on either side. But if I'm looking at the matchup with Cease and the Red Sox, I think it's a favorable matchup. And then if we're looking at Brayan Bello, taking a look-see at him, go a little further. Now, with Bello, the ERA is looking good at a 3.03. The FIP is at a 4.23. The strikeouts overall have been down as of this year overall. Has been getting them a little bit more often over the last couple of months, but 6.8 per 9. 3.2 walks per 9. He's keeping the ball in the yard. I think he'll be fine at Petco Park. We'll see. As long as he locates, he'll be all right. I think so. Now, with Bello, that sinker has been looking very good with him. He has been looking good with the changeup as well. He's been mixing in the sliders. Now, taking a look here, when it comes to the sinkers, San Diego has not had good success against sinkers this year. They are 22nd overall in weighted run value against those. When it comes to the sliders, the Padres are doing well, not as well as the Red Sox overall. Something to keep in mind. And then when you take a look at the changeups, San Diego, they are 29th in Major League Baseball against changeups. So I think right now, if you look at this matchup, it's looking pretty good, I think, for Bello and the Red Sox. But at the end of the day, you got to execute, right? You can't be striking out as much as you did tonight. You can't be doing that, right? Bello, I mean, hopefully his command is okay there tomorrow. Giolito was obviously off here tonight, and you didn't really see that very often. Hopefully Bello is good to go, and he's feeling all right. I think on paper this should be a win for the Red Sox, but paper's paper. Paper schmaper. You got to go out there and execute. But everybody, I'm going to wrap it up right there. Again, a back and forth bummer here tonight. I mean, yeah, can you get back to the stolen base attempt? Bad call from the ump. I don't think that's necessarily wrong to say it was a bad call, but could you have done a little bit more to, better your chances on that? But when it came to the bunt attempt with Hamilton, you got to lay that down. There's no excuse there, in my opinion. So it is what it is. Tough loss. Let's see if they can bounce back here tomorrow. Everyone, if you can, on the way out, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. Go get some sleep. We'll see you tomorrow.